Today we're taking a look at Kiln running on the Xbox Ally X. Before we get into it, I do have to mention that Xbox did give me a code for this game, so thank you and shout out to them for that. It's originally going to be playing this through Xbox Game Pass anyway, so regardless of the code, I was going to cover it. So all opinions on this game and the performance are my own. If you enjoyed handheld performance tests like this and you would like to see more, then make sure to go ahead and subscribe to the channel, like the video. Now let's get into it. I'm going to go ahead and start with the settings first, then move into gameplay. If you want to skip ahead, you can, but this will give you a good idea of how everything's going to be set up and what I'm using in order to get the performance you see. And we're going to start with display menu. I have it set to full screen at 1600 by 900. Motion blur and VSync are both turned off. Motion blur is a personal preference, so you could go ahead and turn that off if you want to. I usually keep it off. The frame rate is capped at 60, though you can go ahead and lower this for more consistency or uncap it just to see how high it actually goes. Dynamic upscaling is turned off. Temporal upscaling is set to 50 and special upscaling is set to 85. If you want a little bit more FPS, you could go ahead and drop that down to 70. However, you are going to give up some visuals, so just keep that in mind. And then the upscaling method is set to FSR. Frame generation is off, and when I tested it, it was just buggy. As you see here, there's a lot of glitching going on screen. I'm not sure if that's me or if that's just an issue with the game, so I would avoid using it for now. If you don't have this problem, definitely go ahead and use it if you want to. For the graphics, I'm using a mix of low and medium, as well as with post-processing set to very low. In terms of performance, I have this set to currently at 25 watt manual mode, which is the max for handheld use. You can see the game reaches about 60 FPS in lighter areas, especially in the open world. It does range about mid 50s to 60 FPS on average. It does sit close to the 40 FPS and fluctuates between 30 to 40 depending on what's happening, especially within the battles in game itself. As things do get more intense, especially with multiple players on screen using abilities, the FPS will drop even further than that. At times, even at 35 watts, it will dip into the low 30s. These are more or less more chaotic moments. At 17 watts, the game is playable in light sections, but performance can struggle heavily even when the action does tend to go ahead and pick up. So it's more of a hit and miss there. Depending on whether or not you want to save some battery, you could try to play it at 17 watts and put all the settings down to very low and try to go from there, or you can go ahead and mess around with that special upscaling and lower it to about 50. Like I mentioned, you are going to sacrifice some visuals, but you are going to be able to play it at a more steady FPS. It's also worth keeping in mind that this is an online game, so I guess performance can vary depending on how many players are active and what's happening at any given time. Matches are typically 4v4, and when everyone is just engaging all at once is when the performance is going to take a bigger hit and start to tank. Now, I did spend some time tweaking the settings, but even with that, there are moments within the gameplay that get so chaotic that performance just takes a hit. Even at 35 watt turbo with the settings I'm using, the FPS could drop down to about 30 FPS, and very rarely does it happen, but it does. It's not consistent, and it doesn't make the game feel unplayable, but it is noticeable during heavier moments. Despite that, the game is still very playable, enjoyable. Controls feel great once you get used to them. I do recommend that you go ahead and go with the tutorial. The control scheme is a bit unconventional with different actions mapped across different buttons, so it takes some time to get used to and get comfortable. Visually, the game looks better on the handheld than what you are seeing here due to video compression, especially with YouTube. On the smaller display, it appears sharper and cleaner than what you might see on a larger display, so just keep that in mind. Overall, I've been enjoying my time with it. I also played the beta previously and spent a good amount of time there as well. Progress didn't carry over for me, but the experience here is still solid. That's going to be it for this one. If you happen to have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments section down below. Once again, shout out to Xbox for sending out the code. If you'd like to check out the game for yourself, I'll have it linked in the description down below. Once again, it is also available for Game Pass, so you can play it there if you happen to have that. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing, and if this video helped you out, go ahead and hit that like button. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you on the next one.